The joke. Yeah, the joke. And you know exactly what I'm going to talk about right here, right now. This is the Gypsy King. Oh, shit, I said King. Sorry. This is the Gypsy boxing style. Gypsy. Back at it again. What am I going to be talking about? You guys will know exactly know what I'm talking about. You're going to know exactly what I'm going to talk about right now. It's Mr. Dillan Ducka Shillian Shite, as one of this YouTuber YB guys be saying. The YB. You guys can check him out. He's kind of funny, but kind of immature, but a lot of things don't make sense after half the shit he says, but, you know, this is completely reasonable. I have to agree. And not just him, a bunch of other motherfuckers I've seen, YouTube-wise. This guy is a ducker. He will duck Tyson Fury. Trust me on this. He will duck because his daddy, Eddie Hearn, who does not want to lose both his cash cows at one go, which means losing him and losing AJ with Usyk. Because Tyson, everybody knows Tyson Fury's going to whoop that ass. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. They can feel it in their fucking bones and their little tiny toes and everything, you know what I mean? They know this. You know what I mean? This is facts. It hasn't happened yet, and you can't call it fact. But this is facts at this point. What am I trying to get at? Who am I trying to get at? Dillan White, I always knew, was a fucking coward. I knew it. The reason why fights like Andy Ruiz, AJ's rematch never took place, you know what I mean? And a bunch of other fights, maybe even Luis Ortiz, stuff like that, is because he priced himself out of those fights. He could have made those fights happen. If Andy Ruiz ends up fighting Dillan Wilder, that's 100%. It's like a compounding credibility block that's on top of what I'm saying. I mean, some of these guys obviously duck each other. I don't know. That's facts also. But the reason why Dillan White is a ducker and he fights only the guys that he wants because it's under his circumstances, like Matchroom. You know, the purse bid didn't work out in his favor, right? Purse bid didn't work out his favor. 30, what was it? It was supposed to be 20, 80. He wanted 50, 40 or some shit like that, right? That's what he wanted. That's not 50, 40, sorry. 60, 40, something like that, or some 45, 55, some shit like that. The reason he's pricing himself out, man, this guy is a joke. You know what I mean? He's pricing himself out. Even Usyk himself took 20% with AJ, and Usyk is a champion, unlike Dillan White, who's never been a champion, ever. You know what I mean? He's never been a champion. He took one shot with AJ and blew it. And never got the rematch because he also priced himself out again. Not because AJ didn't want it. He could have probably taken that fight. AJ, Dillan White, Wilder, and people like Errol Spence are straight up duckers who pretend to be something that they're not. That they'll fight anybody in anybody else's, in any playground, in any backyard. They're not those guys. They're not. Even Canelo isn't. I can go and tell you that. Canelo ain't. There's a reason why I like Tyson Fury. Why I chose Tyson Fury years back, maybe fucking 4 years ago. I don't know. I knew him from the Klitschko fight. I didn't know him before that. I knew him from the Klitschko fight. When he had the first fight with Klitschko. The reason I chose him and then when he went retired, I was like, fuck, man, he's gone. So when he came back, I was like, oh yeah, yes, baby. You know, this dude, you might call me a fanboy, but this dude, he might fucking talk a lot of shit. He might say all kinds of crap, but at the end of the day, he tries to make these fights happen. He does. He genuinely does. He likes to test himself. he tries to make boxing-wise. I'm not talking about MMA and Ngannou, Francis Ngannou, all that person. No, boxing-wise. He ain't afraid no Usyk. He ain't afraid no AJ. Hell, sure as hell ain't afraid no AJ. I mean, people are begging to get a challenge from AJ. He looks like fresh meat for a lot of opponents. A lot of opponents think of him as fresh meat. And if he decides to fight someone like Joy Joyce, Joy Joyce finishes him. Promise you that. If anybody hasn't said that, I'm going to say it right now. AJ gets fucked up by Joy Joyce. Anyways, what was I getting at? And Wilder's going to fuck up Andy Ruiz if that fight ever takes place. Remember that shit. He's going to knock him out in like 6 rounds. Where am I getting at? Back to Mr. Dillan White. Ducker. Fights never took place with this guy, and he whined about not having a title shot with Wilder because he was doing the exact same shit against Wilder. And Wilder said, you know what? Fuck you. He might have been a little bit afraid of fucking Dillan White, but in the end of the day, he's like, fuck you. I'm not going to come to your house, your home country. I got the belt. You should come to mine. And it's the same shit with both those dudes. They both fucking cowards in different ways. Wilder's a coward in his way, and fucking Dillan's a coward in his way. Unlike Tyson Fury, who will come to your backyard. Klitschko, example. Wilder, another one that he did too. He comes to your backyard and fucks you up. You know what I mean? Unlike Tyson Fury. He does that shit. Same thing with Usyk. They do that shit because those are the 2 best champions we have in this era. And they will eventually fight. And that's the 2 that are going to be... It's going to be between those 2 that we determine an actual undisputed champion. Because those are the ones, Tyson Fury and Usyk. No one else. All the other ones are chumps. Which I believe Tyson Fury will win by a close fight. That's my belief. Eddie Hearn, the reason why this fight's stalling is because Eddie Hearn, some people like to call him, dumbass went against Bob Arum and fucking Frank Warren at the same time. You don't have that kind of money to go with that guy and that guy, go up against them on a bidding war. You're not gonna win. Your chances are slim to win that fight, to win that bid, the purse bid, that is. And he lost to Frank Warren, as they call him, the fish eyes, Frank Warren. You know, he lost a bid to Warren with the help of Bob Arum. And now, poor Dillan White, who's been Black Lives Matter, BLM, you know what I mean? He's been done wrong. He's the poor motherfucker, you know what I mean? He's just so poor, you know? Like, dude, you're getting about $8 to $10 million off of one fight. And if you beat this fool, you become lineal champ, on top of which you become WBC champ, Ring Magazine champ. What else do you want, bro? Oh, because it's not on your terms. It's not on your terms. That's what, see, Parker's a man's man. Parker went to his fucking backyard and guess what happened? He fought him on Dillan White's terms. But Dillan would never do that kind of shit. He would never do that kind of shit. He's too much of a chicken shit to do those kinds of things. Unlike Tyson Fury, even Parker is one of those guys that you gotta give his hats off. You know what I mean? But Parker is not like Usyk and Tyson Fury. He ain't gonna do every single challenge like that. He won't. But Usyk and Tyson Fury would, and that's facts. And by the way, Usyk is on steroids. You ask me how I know this? It's because Tyson Fury, when he says something, he heard something from somewhere. And that person is Hafthor Bergerson, the Mountain, the guy that plays in Game of Thrones. Told him a few things about how this guy was able to go from cruiserweight to heavyweight, just like Holiness did. You know what I mean? The Field of Holy did. He did the same exact thing. And you can tell Tyson Fury ain't on some drugs. He might have tested some drugs out, and that's why he probably got caught with that Nandrolol, whatever that fucking drug is. But he's not on some hardcore drugs like some of these athletes, like the Terrences, Crawfords, Caneloses, you know, like the GGGs, and they can, you know, and what else? Maybe the the kitty cats only, you know, those guys, lions only, whatever they are, the fucking two twins, two gay twins, as they call them, you know what I mean? I like those guys, pretty much. That's why I like. I'm gonna give you an example of who Tyson Fury is and why this schmuck will never fight him in the first place. Because I already told you why he will never fight him. I shouldn't give. I'm gonna go deeper into that as well. You know what I mean? Why his daddy Eddie Hearn is not allowing it to happen, and he's showing his sad face on Twitter was it TikTok? I don't even know what the fuck he is. I think it's Twitter, or Instagram. Where the fuck is the video with the two dogs and shit that he's on? The reason why Tyson Fury is the shit is if Tyson Fury was in Canelo's shoes, he would have already fought Charlo. He would have already fought Andrade. He would have fought those guys. Canelo, on the other hand, is avoiding him. I don't care. He would have fought Benavidez. He would have fought at least one or two of those dudes that people were complaining that he's avoiding like the plague. You know? He would have fought him. He wouldn't have avoided him. He would have fought him. Because Tyson Fury ain't all about that shit, but people tell him he's a coward, he's going to avoid this guy and that guy. He ain't about that lifestyle in boxing. Who knows, he might even do the MMA with Francis Ngannou. Then what are people going to say? Not MMA, but like, you know, a mix where you got boxing and you got a little bit of MMA involved. Because Francis Ngannou really wants to be a boxer, apparently. Anyways, all shit aside. 11 minutes in, going on 12. What was I going to say? Daddy Eddie Hearn of AJ, I already has power of attorney of AJ's shit too as well. That fool comes out, he's like, I'm the one, I'm the boss, I make my own decisions. No, you don't, your daddy Eddie Hearn does. That's why he forced you to fight fucking Andy Ruiz when you were fucking shook from a sparring match that you had. Don't be fucking making up bullshit, comparing yourself to mobsters and all that kind of crap. You ain't that guy. Stop it. And those guys were pathetic anyway. First place, you shouldn't compare yourself to those guys. You're better than them. And the sad thing is, you're just a bitch now, you know. And it's like I've been saying for years. That's fool AJ is a bitch. And turns out his so-called friendship with Dillan White shows you who the fuck this guy was. He's also a bitch as well. They're just like Dillan White's the same shit as AJ and Wilder. No different. All three of those motherfuckers are the same fucking type of individuals. They're no different from each other. These guys would have never fought each other. Never fought each other. Trust me. If Tyson Fury didn't come in and now is doing the cleanup work. He's doing the cleanup work. He's cleaning up all these motherfuckers. He's slowly. Wilder out of the picture. AJ, don't worry about it. AJ was worried about Wilder. He would never have fought Wilder. Trust me on this. He would have never fought Wilder. I don't think he even wants to fight him right now. Even at this point, that fight will not take place. Even if Tyson Fury is out of the picture and Tyson Fury, let's say, beats Usyk and decides to fucking retire or some shit like that, these guys will never fight each other, man. Dillan White maybe would fight, not Wilder. Maybe fight AJ again for the second time. Maybe. I could see that happening. Possibility. But he would never fight Wilder. He'll make up excuses that he's scared of him and all that shit. Wilder was scared of him, but Wilder didn't want him to fight. Didn't want to fight in his own yard. He wants to fight in his own yard. And all the cussing out, all that shit, that's all for show, bro. Contract-wise, if one person doesn't have what he wants with these guys, this is how it is. Unlike Usyk and Fury, they don't give a shit. They'll walk into their backyard and fuck them up. These guys won't fight. They won't fight each other. And this is the same shit with this fucking clown Dillan White. He's doing the same exact fucking thing. He's doing the same exact thing with Tyson Fury. And he did the same, I mean, you could come up with excuses with Wilder. You could come up with excuses with fucking Andy Ruiz that he didn't, or Ortiz that he never ended up getting fights with those guys. But you cannot come up, you cannot, and I repeat again, you cannot come up with an excuse with Tyson Fury. Who the hell has Dillan White beaten? Has he beaten Klitschko? He was gifted the fight with fucking Chisora the first time. And the second time, he fucked him over by getting a point deducted, even when he was getting his ass handed to him up to the 10th round. In the 11th round, he got him with a shot because Chisora he's like, I'm losing on points, and obviously it's on a match room, and I'm going to get fucked over. Might as well take a shot, and he made a mistake, and he got caught. If that didn't happen, Chisora would have, in most people's eyes, Chisora would look like he defeated fucking Dillan White, and Dillan White was gifted a decision against him. But what happened between Chisora and Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury wrecked him twice. There was no question on anybody's mind that Tyson Fury beat Chisora, unlike Dillan White's. Anyways, he knows he's going to lose. That's why he wants a payday. And he wants a payday. He's got a payday, but he wants a payday where he has the ultimate control with the referees, with match rooms, Eddie Hearn's fucking protection and all that shit. And if he doesn't get it, he's ducking. And which is going to be obvious. He's going to be ducking. This guy will duck Tyson Fury. End of story. No excuses. You can say, oh, Tyson Fury has been, inactive and all this bullshit, all this. Yeah, but he's fighting the guys. He might be inactive here and there, but he's fighting the fucking guys. He's fighting the guys that someone like AJ would never fight. Wilder, he's never going to fight Wilder. AJ is scared to death of Wilder. You know why? Because Wilder got a hand and Wilder got a chin. Wilder's chin is there. Don't be fucking making up excuses about Wilder's chin. Wilder has a chin on him. He might be a little wobbly legs a little bit, but he's still got that power. And that is terrifying for someone like AJ. And he knows it, and everybody else knows it in the back of their mind. Even that AJ fanboys know that. So, same thing with Dillan White. Dillan White gets wrecked because he does not have a chin. He got fucking fucked up by an old man named Povetkin. Alexander Povetkin, to be exact. So you think this guy's has any shot against beating Fury? No chance in hell, bro. No chance. And he knows it. And the fact is, he wants a better percentage. He just wants a better percentage. He wants that payday, bro. This is one of the biggest examples. They talk about Billy Joe Saunders wanting paydays and shit off of Canelo and stuff like that. No. This is not the same. This is obvious that this guy, it's payday. Give me that payday. I know I'm going to lose anyway. So he don't talk shit. What arbitration clause and all that shit. The fuck? Get that shit out of him. Dude, that fight's already been made. He should be all happy, but no. He's sad because it's like someone shot his fucking dogs. But his dogs haven't been shot. You know what I mean? You saw it on his fucking TikTok or whatever Instagram video he had. We all saw that shit. So, what can I say? AJ will lose. AJ will actually not even fight Usyk. He'll probably prolong this shit because it's, yet again, that Eddie Hearn does not want to fight with Usyk. Same thing with Fury, with Dillian White. He doesn't want that because he's going to lose two big cash cows at one go and this year. He's going to lose them. He's going to lose them. That's what he's going to do. Yo. That's what he's going to do. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. You know what I mean? And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. This is what happened. I think for Dillian White's going to this is my prediction, and I'm sticking with this. Dillian White's going to duck. And I think what's going to happen is Eddie Hearn's hoping, I don't know what's going to happen after that, Eddie's hoping that he can make a deal with Usyk versus Fury and leave AJ out of it. That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to leave AJ out of it so he doesn't lose his cash cows. This guy's a businessman, and he has full control over these schmucks that think they have some kind of level of control when they actually do not have anything. They have no control. Yeah. Just Andy Ruiz was a good example. He could have decided not to fight because he was shook, but that's why his father got pissed. AJ's father, he was shook. But either way, Andy was gonna beat that ass anyway, even if he wasn't shook or not. Because that's why the second fight, he didn't stand toe to toe with him. He ran away from him every single shot. He was running away from the guy. He was running away from the dude. He hit him in the second fight. It was the most boring shit ever. You know, he didn't knock him out. He didn't do shit. He was touching him up and taking him off. He didn't want to stand a toe with Ruiz, who gained 30 fucking pounds more and is slow on feet. Dumbass Ruiz, if he came in the same way he did in the first fight, he would have beat that ass just like he did in the first fight. But it's all good. It's all good. That fool's time is coming. He's done. All his excuses are, AJ's spent. AJ's no longer the same. He's, his prime years. No, he was always the same. He was always the same. It's just at a higher level, you see that. At a higher level, you see what kind of a fighter AJ is. That's all it is. At Tyson Fury level, at Usyk level, you see what kind of a fighter AJ is. You know what I mean? Usyk is a better fighter than someone like Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko, even Vitaly Klitschko, yes indeed. Even the likes of Lennox Lewis, you can go ahead and say that. It's gonna maybe not Lennox Lewis. Maybe I'm pushing a little too much with Lennox Lewis, but I think maybe we'll find out eventually. I think he is a little bit. That's my opinion, though. That's my opinion. But for sure, Klitschko, Vitaly, he's better than those guys. And those Ukrainians know who's the better amongst them. Those Ukrainians know that this kid Usyk is better than all the other juice heads, because they were all juice heads. You know what I mean? Including Usyk himself. Yeah. I think I said my piece. Dillan's gonna duck and he ain't gonna fight. His emotions and everything, all his body language speaks. I am ducking. I want to be a quack quack. I like ponds. I like to swim and fluff my little tail feathers. That's what he's doing right now. And that's fucking obvious. Anyways, this is the Gypsy. Yowza. I'm out.